Most ponds in the southeast and here in Alabama are stocked with bass and brim, and at least have recreational fishing as somewhat of a goal or interest. It's important to recognize, though, in terms of maintaining that recreational fishing quality, harvest is a key component to that, primarily being bass harvest. Ponds are not like our rivers and larger reservoirs in the fact that they're not limited by reproduction, they're limited by prey availability and productivity. Harvest rates are going to depend on the productivity of the lake, whether it's fertilized or not. We've got a whole nother video on that aspect, and also based on the harvest strategy. Now when it comes to management strategies, we have a few different options. By far the most common that folks like to manage towards is what's known as general balance. That's where we have nice catchable 2 to 4 pound size largemouth bass, and also some nice catchable panfish or brim at that 6 to 8 inch size. Conversely, we can tease that strategy a little bit. Folks can also manage towards what's known as a trophy situation. Whether that situation is for trophy bass or trophy brim is going to depend on what that owner wants to manage for. Trophy brim looks something like this. Nice large size brim, but the bass are many and small that reduce the brim numbers that allow those that remain to grow nice and large like these here. The complete opposite of that is true for trophy bass management strategies. That's where the brim are numerous and small, averaging 3 to 6 inches in size, and the bass are very few and far between, but very large. For today's video, we're going to focus on general balance since that's by far the most common strategy. However, in a lot of situations where harvest isn't adequate for the strategy or for the pond size, or for the pond's productivity for that matter, we end up with this trophy brim situation. Numerous small bass that become overcrowded due to underharvest and overproduction. They end up growing very small like this, pretty much eating themselves out of house and home. Very few brim are left, and the brim that are left grow very large. Now harvest rate's going to depend on the management strategy that you decide to place for your pond. We have a table at the end of this video that's going to go through in detail the harvest based on the management strategy, and then also based on the productivity, whether the pond's fertilized or not. Now, for generally balanced ponds, the recommendation is that 15 to 20 pounds of bass per acre per year be harvested in unfertilized or low productivity systems. That changes a little bit when we fertilize the pond. Then we need to take out a bit more fish. That recommendation is 20 to 25 pounds of bass per acre per year. Now it's important to understand that the bass that you need to be harvesting should be smaller, 14 inches and less, total length. Now to give you an idea of what total length actually is, that measurement is basically with the mouth of the bass closed. You'll place them on the measuring board, pinch the tail, and that's the measurement of the bass that you need to be harvesting. Now there's always some exceptions, like this fish here in front of us. It measures in at about 14¼ inches. It's okay to take fish that are a little bigger than that, especially if they look a little bit poor like this one does. Long fish, bigger head, sunken in stomach, it's not getting enough to eat. It's okay to harvest fish that size if they're a little bit over that limit. Now when it comes to the harvest of brim, that is bluegill or shellcracker, regardless of the management strategy, the harvest rates will be the same. It's the productivity that's going to be the difference here. In a fertilized or high productive pond, don't take out any more than 200 pounds of brim per acre per year. Now in an unfertilized pond, we want to be below 100 pounds per acre per year.
When it comes to annual harvest, do not rely on your memory. Keep written records in a harvest and weigh station. This station's at a convenient location for you and your visitors. We have a bucket for weighing. We have scales, both mechanical and digital. We really recommend the mechanical scales. They're less accurate, but you never have to worry about running out of batteries. We also keep a notepad and pens and pencils. In this notepad, keep track of the date, the species of fish, the number of fish, and the total weight of the fish. Before recording your data, remember to separate the bass from the bluegill and the shellcrackers. Here we have 14 bass that we're going to weigh. So these 14 bass weigh about 9 pounds. Remember to also take into account the weight of the bucket. This bucket weighs almost 2 pounds, so we have 7 pounds of bass that we need to record. Remember to periodically check your records and see how you're doing on your goals. Make sure you're not overshooting or undershooting your goals. If you get to the end of the year and you're having trouble reaching your desired harvest, you may want to hire a fisheries consultant to come into your pond, electrofish, and remove some undersized bass.
So one issue that you may face as a pond owner is difficulty in getting the amount of bass harvest that you need to on an annual basis. One tip that we have for you is downsizing the tackle and lures that you're using to catch those fish. All the fish on this stringer you see here were caught in just a few hours by downsizing our tackle. A small spinner, a smaller lipless crankbait, and this little smaller downsized swim bait is what was used to catch that entire stringer of fish. Tackle companies nowadays are making a lot of downsized offerings that can help to catch those smaller bass. So just remember that tip when you're having trouble with your catch rates for the year.
Remember that proper fish harvest is an important part of managing any pond for quality fishing. The best part of fish harvest is the fish fry they're going to have tonight. Bass and bluegill, and especially smaller bass, make for excellent table fare.